Communications Director for Turning Point USA and new star in America, Candace Owens. So Candace, he spoke tonight about black unemployment being at record low, and talked about his new friend Kanye West. Now, do you think that Kanye is throwing his support behind President Trump because of his economic policies for black America?
For sure. I think what Kanye West is doing is essentially assessing the differences between how black America is doing now versus how it was doing under Obama's administration. He's understanding the facts are the facts. We know that we know that Kanye has particularly cared a lot about Chicago and its community and what's been going on over there because that's where he's from. And quite frankly, they're just doing a lot better under this administration. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So I'm really excited to see where black America is going to head. And I'm very excited that Kanye West has jumped on board fully, and he seems to be doubling and tripling down with his support.
And black America, I think 90% votes for Democrats. Whites are almost evenly split, maybe a little bit more Republican. Hispanics and Asians, it's about 60-30. Why do you think, as a black woman in America, that there's such a monolithic group that supports the Democratic Party in black America?
It's very simple. You have to remember, Jesse, I come from the left. I was a liberal, and I can tell you exactly why. It has to do with the educational system. We learned our history wrong. We learned that LBJ was the greatest president for black America, and that couldn't be more false. I mean, what he did essentially enslaved us, the Democratic Party, with the Great Society Act. Then it starts with our family. We look to culture and hip-hop to define what we should think, which is why Jay-Z and Beyonce were always at the White House when Obama was in it. And that starts with the breakdown of the black family. Our fathers are not in our homes because that was incentivized by LBJ's Great Society Act. So it really is a two-pronged approach, and they have all of us voting for them for all of the wrong reasons. We don't understand our history, and we don't understand the economic policies behind it.
So you think the education system in this country teaches black Americans that big government policies started by LBJ and the Great Society are good for them, but you're saying that those big government policies, in fact, have maybe stifled the growth of the black America?
This honestly is not a matter of opinion. This is a matter of a fact because I came up in the public school education. We also learned that the Republican Party is virtually demonized in our textbooks. I always say the #1 issue facing the black community is education. We need a real education makeover. Most blacks still believe that the Republican and the Democratic parties switched in the 1970s, and that's just an absolute myth. That never happened under something called the Southern Strategy. It's just not real. So most people it's not something that they're willfully being ignorant. They're learning to be ignorant in the school systems, and once again at homes via culture. They're idolizing people that are not telling them what's actually and accurately going on in our communities.
Well, listen, I know because I've hit the streets, and when you ask people, was Abraham Lincoln a Republican or a Democrat, I think about half the people that I interview think Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat. Candace Owens.
That's true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now we have Corey Lewandowski on the phone. Is that true? No, we don't have Corey. Okay. We don't have Corey Lewandowski, so what we're going to do instead, we're going to play some more sound from President Trump, and then we're going to go to Mike Tobin, one of the reporters from Fox News who was actually at the rally. Let's hear some more sound from the president tonight in Michigan.
I'm tougher on Russia. Nobody ever thought. Look at how these politicians have fallen for this junk. Russian collusion. Give me a break. I'll tell you, the only collusion is the Democrats colluded with the Russians, and the Democrats colluded with lots of other people. Take a look at the intelligence agencies. And what about Comey? Do you watch him on the interviews? What about Comey?
All right, let's go to Mike Tobin, one of our reporters who was at the rally. Mike, this rally, I think, pretty typical of the Trump rallies so far. I mean, he hit all the hits with this border and Nancy Pelosi and taking credit for the peace on the Korean Peninsula. What struck you as someone that's been to a few of these?
I suppose what caught my attention was a discussion about NASA when he said that Mars is waiting. That was one I wasn't ready for, and certainly very interesting. I, of course, paid attention to Syria because I just got back from the Middle East with covering that, and when the president summed it up, I believe his quote was "bada boom, bada bang" in terms of summing up what happened with Syria in terms of delivery of the weapons. And once again, he said that none of the U.S. weapons were intercepted and 100% hit their targets. Of course, that generated a rousing cheer from the people here. And these are the people, of course, who got Trump elected. They came here very much to be in favor, to like what they hear, very much preaching to the choir. He got involved in local politics. If you listen to the whole thing, Debbie Stabenow is the Michigan senator who's up for re-election, and he tried to mobilize the audience here to get involved in that particular election. Talking about Debbie Stabenow, what he didn't do was talk about the Republicans, and that's because they haven't had the primary yet.
Right.
So he didn't pick one guy.
So,
that
Mike,
he was gonna throw his momentum behind.
I was also struck with the Mars comment. I had no idea we were that close to visiting the red planet. He bragged about charging some people like Elon Musk or some of these other billionaires with their private space shuttles to use